Today we're going to learn how to write the equation of a polynomial in standard form from looking at a table. What we need to do is identify our zeros or x-intercepts. Our x-intercepts or zeros occur where y equals 0. That's why they're called a zero. So I need to look, where does y equal 0? Here, here, and here. So that means my zeros are -3, -1, and 2. So let's write these down. X equals -3, x equals -1, x equals 2. So now we're going to write our factors. X equals -3 came from x plus 3. X equals -1 came from x plus 1. And x equals 2 came from x minus 2. Well, now we need to find our coefficient. What is our leading coefficient? So we're going to pick a point and plug it in. I'm going to pick 0, -6, just because it's an easy point to work with. Plugging in a 0 and plugging in a -6 doesn't seem too challenging. So anywhere I see a y, I'm going to plug in a -6. And anywhere I see an x, I'm going to plug in a 0 because that is the point that I selected. Now we're going to evaluate and solve for a. 0 plus 3 is 3, 0 plus 1 is 1, 0 minus 2 is -2. So I'm going to multiply and see -6 equals a times -6. I divide and see that a equals 1. Nice. In this case, our leading coefficient is a +1. Sometimes it'll be like that and sometimes it won't. So our factored form of our equation is y equals 1 times x plus 3 times x plus 1 times x minus 2. But this problem asked for standard form. So that means I need to multiply my factored form. We are going to multiply. My favorite tool to use is the box method. Let's take a look at my factored form. I'm going to multiply these two binomials together first. So I'm going to have x plus 3 times x plus 1. And I multiply x squared, 3x, 1x, and 3. Now I combine these terms and get x squared plus 4x plus 3. I'm not done. I can't forget about this binomial over here. So let me set up a second box. And I'm going to multiply x cubed, 4x squared, 3x, -2x squared, -8x, and -6. Now let's combine our like terms and write this in standard form. That's one set of like terms. Here's another set of like terms. So my final answer is going to be x cubed plus 2x squared, because I combined my terms in purple, minus 5x, because I combined my terms that were in green, minus 6. Let's take a look at a second example, this time where a does not equal 1. In this case, A is not going to equal 1. Once again, I'm going to identify my zeros. Okay, so my zeros are x equals -2, x equals +2, and x equals 4. These are my zeros. And now my factors come from my zeros. So my factors are x plus 2, x minus 2, and x minus 4. Now we need to pick a point and plug it in. I'm going to pick the y-intercept just because working with 0 makes it a little bit easier. So let's go ahead and plug that in. -48 equals a, my coefficient, and anywhere I see an x, instead I'm writing a 0 because that's the point I chose. 0 plus 2 is 2, 0 minus 2 is -2, 0 minus 4 is -4. Let's continue to multiply, and we'll see that it's a times 16. And now we divide and see that a equals -3. So in this case, our a value is not 1. Our coefficient is -3. So the final factored form of our equation is y equals -3 times x plus 2 times x minus 2 times x minus 4. But this problem once again asks for standard form. So we're going to multiply. Use the box and multiply those two binomials together. Fill in the boxes with multiplication. Combine my like terms. So I have x squared. No middle term because those cancel out. Now let's bring in my third term over here. X times x squared, x cubed, minus 4x, minus 4x squared, plus 16. In this case, I don't have any like terms. All my variables have different exponents. So I'm going to end up with x cubed minus 4x squared minus 4x plus 16. In this case, our a isn't 1, our a is -3, so we need to multiply everything by -3 to get our final answer. And there you go. There's your final answer in standard form.